I know we got a bunch more stuff to talk about. Namely, we've been hearing a lot of whispers, maybe more than just whispers now, on the growth that one of the A&M wide receivers has had, especially through these preseason camps so far. So can you give us kind of what you have heard so far about the development of Ashton Bethel-Roman?
Yeah, and again, I think it was a good reminder because I did actually have a family member ask about that. So was that the guy who flipped front? And I was like, again, this is the type of thing where I love this time of the year because there's always going to be one player that just lights it up. And we kind of forgot because, especially last season, A&M's wide receiver rotation was really built through the transfer portal and headlined by Noah Thomas, who's now with Georgia. We expected a lot more from Noah Thomas, even though he had a great season. I would say he had a very good season before transferring. Obviously dealt with a lot of injury issues the previous 2 seasons. But again, I wouldn't call Noah Thomas a burner. I wouldn't call him a all-around wide receiver that is going to change your offense completely. Obviously, they went out and got Casey Concepcion and Mario Craver to add more speed and quickness and separation and coverage. But Ashton Bethel-Roman, who flipped from Arkansas in the 2024 class, and again, when he flipped from Arkansas, all I heard from recruiting insiders was this is a big get. But again, with Terry Bussey in that class, with a lot of other guys, with obviously Jimbo Fisher getting fired and Elko having to basically keep those guys committed, he kind of went under the radar, right? And then going into this, the 2024 season, we didn't hear a lot about him because they had a ton of guys in front of him. There was a lot of transfer guys who they weren't more talented than Bethel-Roman, but obviously had more experience. And this was Elko's first season, obviously OC Colin Klein's first season. So I think they wanted to go on the safe route and keep those guys on the bench, bring them in blowouts or at the end of games like we saw against New Mexico State, I believe, where that's where Bethel-Roman actually, we finally saw him and Isaiah Williams and went, these guys got some skills to them. Like, these guys might be dudes, next offseason. So going into the preseason, and again, we hadn't heard a lot in the summer. I knew that he was going to be a rotational guy. You and I have been talking about it, that this was somebody who was going to vie for a spot and he was going to see more time. But then we really started seeing him practice and we saw the route running. And oh baby, like,
it's polished already.
Oh man,
that's the thing, is it's polished already. And I think that when you see the developmental stages, and I think that this is the exact reason why you bring a guy like Holman Wiggins in at your wide receiver coach, is the pedigree that he has, where he puts wide receivers in the NFL, regardless of where they're at. So I think that has made it so that the wide receiver room, regardless of when they came in, they're able to get these valuable reps, especially during the preseason. You and I have said on this show and, off the show, that not only were there whispers, there was a quiet confidence that Ashton Bethel-Roman would be I wouldn't say a big piece, but he was going to be a very, very solid piece coming up for A&M this season, especially in that wide receiver room with Noah Thomas leaving for Georgia, and with your veteran guys out of eligibility and going to the NFL as well.
Yeah, and that's the thing. And we knew that he was going to be a part of this rotation in some way, shape, or form. We also talked about Isaiah Williams, who, to be honest, has not flashed too much this preseason, and I don't think that's his fault. We saw a couple practice clips. He looks great. He was practicing with the 2s and 3s. But again, I think that's just because of Bethel-Roman's rise. And I think that's just with all the guys in front of Williams, it's just going to be one of those seasons where he may get in the field more, but you and I both said, and I remember it was a couple of days ago, and before, I think it was after the scrimmage, that I did hear some things like, this kid is lights out. He's one of the fastest guys in the team. Remember Landon Rosso, who's on here, told us it was rumored he ran a 4.3 40, which again, that is very, very fast. And we saw a clip, thanks to Texas A&M's media team, for all of us in the media, who obviously didn't see the scrimmage, showed Marcel Reed hitting him on the deep ball, and this guy just outlasting the coverage. And again, you need these guys to not only beat their corner, but beat the safety in the third level of the field. And this is somebody who can do it. You go back and watch his high school tape at Missouri City, Texas, and this was a guy who was beating every everybody against him. Okay, he was the first guy deep. He was the first guy open. And we knew that. I think Elko has known that for a while. And I think he's been keeping this guy like, okay, we're not going to use him much. We don't really need him this year. We've got these guys in front that need playing time. But next year, this is going to be one of those rising stars who could end up changing this offense for the better. We've been talking about Terry Bussey as that guy, right? But now we're kind of looking at Terry Bussey, who got stronger this offseason, was praised today during the press conference as one of the smartest guys on the team, just talking about his intellect, his versatility. I think he's going to be used in a variety of ways. But I do think that right now, their starting offensive line, their 1, 2, and 3 guys are Casey Concepcion as a number 1, Mario Craver, who could play the X, could play the slot. I kind of see Concepcion as a slot right now, and I could see Mario Craver as the X just because he's more of a burner. Mm-hmm. And right now, and Bethel-Roman playing that Z, or he could play that X just because of the size and the speed. So they have a bevy of options, but I mean, I've heard nothing but just excitement for this game.
Yeah, there's been some excitement. I think that's why we have these shows in August, is that we are able to get this garnering of excitement, especially for the fans. And it's really, really fun that Ashton Bethel-Roman is the one that we're able to talk about this time around.